Hello everybody, and today we're going to talk about how you can use Google Drive to share documents with whoever you want, including with links. It's a very simple, straightforward process once you get it down, and one of the most useful tools to have in your teacher toolbox. I have created an example document in Google Drive. I'm assuming that you know how to create a document in Google Drive. If not, that's one you're going to have to Google for yourself. It's very, very, very simple. So I have this document. I have all kinds of cool stuff. Lots of cool stuff in here. Yo. And typos make me crazy, so lots of cool stuff. And I want to share all this cool stuff with my colleagues, or possibly with my students, or whoever I want to share this with. So all I have to do is come here to the share button, and I have a lot of different options for sharing. I have to stop and think for a minute. Do I want to share this with only specific people, or do I want to make this available for a larger audience? If you want to share it with specific people, it's pretty simple. You come in here where it says people, you enter their email addresses. Here, I'll share this with my wife. I'll also share it with myself. So I have this document is going to be shared with 2 people, and you can add as many people as you want. You can even copy and paste people from a spreadsheet. Then over here on the right, it has the level of permissions that they have with the document. When you share with someone by name, by default, it gives them editing permissions, which means they can make changes to the document, they can delete things from the document, they can do pretty much anything they want with the document except delete it entirely. So use that whenever you're collaborating with someone. It's very useful for collaboration purposes. The next option is can comment. This is a little bit less permissions with the document. What this allows you to do, if you have commenting permission, is that you can add comments on the document, you can make suggestions. Here, I'm going to hit no and cancel out of that. So to give you an example, I'll change this to suggesting, which is what the level of permissions that this will give you. So if I come in here and I try to delete this, it'll put a comment over here saying, hey, you should do this. Also, you can add things to it, but they're still suggestions. Let's add some stuff here. And right now you'll notice that Google said replace that with that. I can also hit enter a couple times and more stuff here. Yay! Then I can highlight a section of it, click up in the top, and add a comment to that section. This is amazing! And I can comment on it. And if there are multiple people in this document, they could leave comments on my comments. They say, you're right. Haha! And reply, and it would have their face there and their information. So you have this whole comment discussion going on where you say, well, I think we need to say this. Well, how about this? Well, no, maybe this. Well, consider so on and so forth. So it's very useful for collaboration, especially if your team's not in the same place. The next level is view only. When you have view only, all you can see is the current document. Notice, I suggested that this be deleted. This lets lots of cool stuff in here, yo, but until that suggestion is approved by one of the owners or editors, the live document still has it in there. It does not have any of the extra stuff. But when I go back, let's say I go back to editing mode, and I'm going to approve this, yes, let's do that. Then it's reflected in the live. So keep that in mind. Whenever you are submitting things for a class, I'd like you to give me suggestion permission or can comment level permissions. I do not want editing permissions for your documents for obvious reasons. But here's the cool part. Even if you do, let's say you accidentally give somebody editing permissions and they jack everything up here at the top where it says all changes saved in Drive, you can click on that as long as you're in editing mode. And you can roll back to one of the older versions. Let's go back here, hit the drop down, and let's roll back to the very first version right here. Restore this version. There we go. Got rid of all those comments, got rid of everything, and now it's back to the way it was. So if something happens, you accidentally mess up and delete something you didn't want to, or you want to roll back to a previous version, it's very simple to do so. So that's one way to share it, is directly sharing it and then choosing their level of permissions. The other way to share it, and this one is very, very useful, I use this pretty much every single day, is with a link. If you click this Get Shareable link right there, you will get a link to this document. And what this allows you to do is share this link with someone, like, for example, posting it in an LMS if you want to share it with students, or sending it in an email if you want to share it with other teachers or your administrator. One very useful way that I use these links is for lesson plans. I take all my lesson plans and I create them in a Google folder, and then I put all the lesson plans in that folder. And then I got a link to that folder and created a QR code for it and stuck that on my door. so that whenever an administrator walks into my room to observe me, I don't have a printed out lesson plan every week. I don't have to remember to do that. They just scan that QR code and there's all my lesson plans, and they can pull up the one for this week. So keep that in mind. That's one possible way you can use this. Whenever you are using this, you have different people who can access that link. So by default, if you are a Google Apps, or it's G Suite for Education now, they changed the name a little while back, then by default it'll say anyone at your organization can view the document, which means that anybody who signs in to your school, for me it's Darlington County School District, anyone with a Darlington County School District email address can view this document if they sign in. But a lot of times I want to share it with a larger audience, so I'm going to hit more, and then this is the most common one I use. Anyone with the link can access it. No sign-in required. They can view it. Anybody with the link, whether they're signed in or not. And then down here you have the same levels of access. Now I cannot stress this enough. You really should not give the World Wide Web editing or commenting permissions on your document. There are obvious reasons behind this. Just, it's not a good idea unless you have a very specific reason for wanting to do so. I think I've done that once in my life. But it's not a good idea for the most part, especially if it's something you really want to keep track of and you really want to use, like your schoolwork. So, but I do recommend anyone with a link can view is an excellent way to get that information out there, to share it with anything. So anything that you're going to do and put in the class wiki and submit to the class, you're going to need to do anyone with a link, because we're all in different school districts for the most part, and we won't be able to view it if you limit it to just your district. Then you just hit save, and anywhere you put this link, I'm going to copy the link, paste it up here, pulls it right up. Anybody with that link can access it. So if you have any questions, any thoughts, any comments, any cries of outrage, please let me know. I'll be happy to help. Thanks.